have something extremely special for you. We are located currently in the Atlantis Royal Residences, and I am joined today by Charlie Watts, who is our specialist in this development and is also, coincidentally, a resident here.
I was speaking to one of the girls in the Royal Cafe as you come in, and she said they had not been one room empty since the 1st of October last year.
People were buying like the two beds for around 7.5, 8 million.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really get in to Atlantis now for any less than 18, 19 million. Hello and welcome back to another episode of What's the Deal? My name is Jack from Edwards & Towers, and this week we have something extremely special for you. We are located currently in the Atlantis Royal Residences, and I am joined today by Charlie Watts, who is our specialist in this development and is also, coincidentally, a resident here. So we are going to discuss everything about this project, what the uniqueness is of this development, and why it is arguably one of the most luxurious branded residences in the world. Okay, so Charles.
Hello.
Charlie.
Nice to be here.
Okay, so obviously you're living in the Royal Atlantis, which is a very fortunate place for you to be.
Yes, very lucky.
I remember when I started out in my real estate career, Knight Frank actually had the master agency on the sales of the Atlantis Royal.
Yes.
And the market was a very different climate back then in 2019, 2020. They still had quite a lot of stock left over.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the buyers at the time were extremely worried about how ambitious this project really was.
Yeah.
Is it going to get finished? Are there going to be issues? The sheer mass and the size of this project on a man-made island was a little bit scary for most as well.
Yeah.
And at the time when it launched, there was only a couple of projects which were kind of comparable, but now it's finished. It's really blown everything out of the water.
Well, I think when it first got launched, I think it took quite a while for it to kick off, I think, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a build of 6 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, the sheer scale of it was kind of hard to believe that something that large is going to be built on the man-made island on the outer crescent. There was massive issues with obviously the road network. People were thinking that outer crescent is going to be an absolute gridlock.
Yeah.
So you're a resident.
Yep.
You've got first-hand knowledge of what it's like, the man on the ground.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the traffic first. Has it changed much?
For
Do
me,
you notice it?
No, I think the traffic's fine. I think obviously they are doing a bit of work at the moment over the bridge.
Yeah.
But for me, obviously I haven't been here that long to give you probably that good of a difference. But for me, the traffic's fine on the Palm, well, especially at the moment because.
Well, you live and work on the Palm as well, right?
Yeah.
If you're going off the island quite a lot, then it might be a little bit more noticeable. I noticed it going past our office, which is on Golden Mile, from the Crescent traffic coming down at kind of like 5-6 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. Rush hour, if you like. Getting off the island can be a bit of a pain at the moment, but the continued works that is happening is improving.
Depending what time you actually come on to the Palm as well, like Sundays and Saturday nights, especially over the weekend, it can be quite busy.
Okay.
In time, but during the day.
So Charlie, you're actually living in the hotel at the moment, temporary solution. Yeah. Tell me why they've moved you out of the residences.
It's just there's some maintenance work going on at the moment on the resident side. I believe it is most units, but they've just been working their way through.
That's fair enough.
So at the moment our unit is under maintenance, so we're in the hotel side at the moment.
That's fair enough. I mean, it's a pretty good time to do it this time of the year, right?
Yeah, it's not too bad, but to be fair, the hotel side, it never really seems to calm down. I was speaking to one of the girls in the Royal Cafe as you come in, and she said there had not been one room empty since the 1st of October last year, which is just like mental.
That is crazy. I mean, the residency side as well, you can't actually, if you buy an apartment in here, you can't actually do short-term rental either, right?
No, you can't actually do like an Airbnb for or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most affordable apartment for rent in the residences at the moment, I think it's about 2 million dirhams.
I think you started around about that, yeah.
What's that? About
400,
550,000 US, £400,000. which is why it makes it, extremely luxurious here. What are the amenities on offer for somebody living in the residences?
Well, obviously you have all the residence amenities, but then you also have the resorts that you can use as well.
Okay.
With the resident side, you have your indoor pool, which comes with, you got your gym and stuff like that. That comes with like a steam room and sauna, which is pretty spectacular. You have your private pool out the front, tennis courts, playground for your kids. Just the usual really, but to a bit of a better standard than what you would normally get.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, it's pretty spectacular. Obviously, going on to the resort side, it's endless what you've got. But the good thing is about being a resident, you get quite a lot of discount.
How much?
About 30%.
Okay.
Which helps.
Yeah, it does. It does when you've got Michelin star restaurants on your doorstep.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, look, just touching base on kind of the general market. You've got some apartments for sale in here.
Yeah.
Rewind 3-4 years ago, people were buying like the 2 beds for around 7.5-8 million.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really get in to Atlantis now for any less than 19 million?
Yeah, no less than 16, 17 really, yeah. And that is just, and because obviously there's so many different, even though there's about 230 units, 231 I believe, but there's so much difference. There's like over 80 different layouts. So depending on which one you go for, it's hard to kind of like stick a price on something because there's so many different layouts.
Yeah.
So everything's different. So it is very hard to stick a price on. But yeah, kind of your entry level, it probably would be your 2 bed, 1 view instead of 2 views, and you're probably looking at 16, 17 million.
Yeah, I mean the only comparable, well, the main comparable that I would put this against that we'd obviously seen before was Bulgari. It had a similar kind of lifestyle offering to an affluent crowd.
Yeah.
Where you had, residences. There was 6 buildings over there then, so there was more residential units. You had access to the hotel. You had access to the yacht club.
Mm-hmm.
There's a marina down there and obviously private beach.
Yeah.
You don't have a marina here, but you have much more in terms of an offering on the hotel side. Do you know how many restaurants there are there?
I believe there's about 17.
I mean, that's just crazy to have 17 restaurants on your
I
doorstep.
got shocked because when I first, even the retail side, you could literally, if you wanted to, you could just shop here and not go anywhere else. If you do like your clothes, your designer gear and stuff like that. Yeah. You could literally just stay here. Yeah. It is that good in terms of retail.
I mean, you'd look like you're sponsored by Chanel or Louis Vuitton. But...
Yeah, you probably would. Yeah, but yeah, you probably would burn a hole in your pocket quite quickly. But yeah, the restaurants, they're fantastic.
But look, it's obviously catering to the right crowd, right? I mean, in Bulgari, when people bought in there, the owners there are very. They've seen such high capital appreciation. When you own in Bulgaria in one of the more desirable units, one of the more unique units, they're quite reluctant to sell now because it's kind of a destination or a location that you own and you will own forever. And to say that you have a property in that address resonates throughout.
Yeah, that's the same. A lot of these owners here that have the units seriously use them as like holiday homes.
Absolutely, and it's a trophy asset, right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly,
like owning in central London in Zone 1, Kensington, Chelsea, those kind of areas, Hyde Park. If you say that to your friend group, and then you say you own in Atlantis Royal residences in Dubai, it's it's a big tick.
Yeah, there's a lot of like Europeans, British that own units here, definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, look, the demographic of people living in this. I mean, it's very quiet at the moment. We're filming this at the end of July 2024, and it's 44 degrees outside at the moment. But the crowd that are living here or have the capability to go away for the summers or only use this for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's what you generally find, that it does quieten down this period.
Yeah, I mean, we only saw one guest one other neighbour of yours, should we say?
Yeah, well, put it this way: when I go up to my unit, I can't tell you last time I got into a lift with someone. Just it's constantly quiet.
Good.
Well, when I first came, you generally always see other residents in the library or in the lounge or wherever it may be. You generally see.
So, what have you got around us at the moment? You've obviously got.
You've obviously got the function rooms here.
Yeah.
Which you can use for obviously like what we're doing, or meetings or whatever it may be. You have like a library area up in the top lobby, where you can come and just relax basically, whatever you may do, read a book, whatever it is. And then you have the lounge, which is a bit more like of a casual area. So they're kind of the sitting areas you've got.
Okay, and the concierge, that's...
Just kind of a waiting area, really.
But when I drove in, they obviously have valet for residents as well. So
Yeah, so you drive in, obviously, and then they take your car down to the basement,
Yeah, I mean, the service level that you get in the residence side matches the hotel, should we say?
Yeah, definitely.
You get that 5-star.
It's pretty phenomenal, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel like you're royalty when you live in here, yeah.
Okay, I mean, look, for a lot of the residents here, it won't really matter too much, but it's obviously on the higher side in terms of service charges because you get so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you drop your car off, you're greeted, open the door for you.
To be fair though, it still isn't, for where you are and for what you're living in, I still don't think it's like ridiculously high. I think it's about 39 dirhams.
On average, square foot,
on
yeah.
average, I'd say, yeah.
I mean, the comparable when I was selling this off plan previously was at the time One Palm, which is serviced by the Dorchester Collection, which is right at the foot of the palm next to Five,
Mm-hmm.
which we knew was going to be a problem for people when they bought in there because Five Hotel is just carnage
Yeah,
on a daily basis with the pool party, and you can hear the music. So at the time, it was I think you could buy here for around 8.5 million, or you could buy in One Palm for a starting price of around 15 million.
Right.
And you know, it's appealing to the same demographic of people that want ultra luxury serviced accommodation, which are big apartments or big penthouses.
Yeah.
And down there now, you can get into One Palm for around, I think it's around 26.5 million for a 3-bedroom down there.
Right.
Or you can come up here, which is a lot quieter.
Yeah.
The restaurant offering and the amenities on your doorstep here versus there is completely different.
Completely different.
And then the other comparable was actually W Residence on the West Crescent.
Yeah, the West Crescent, yeah.
Heading just past Kempinski and Raffles now.
Nice there, yeah.
And they're larger apartments. You can get a lot more bang for your buck over there, and it's a lot more quieter.
I'd definitely say the West is a lot more quieter, yeah.
But again, the service charges down on the W, I think they're around 35 as well per square foot. What you can get there, I mean, you have access to the W Hotel. I think there's 4 restaurants in there.
Beach club and stuff there as well.
It's a beach club.
Yeah.
But again, 35 dirhams a square foot over there, or 39 here for what you got on your doorstep and the level of service. Yeah. I mean, this just knocks everything out of the park.
It does, yeah.
Okay, so look, let's talk about what you have available at the moment. I mean, the 2 beds, 3 beds, 4 beds, and then you've got some with larger terraces. You said there's quite a lot of layouts here.
Yeah, so obviously starting at the bottom, you have like your garden suites, which are like townhouses basically. So we have one of them at the moment, which is the smallest garden suite available. So there's 8 in total, and we have a 2-bed available at the moment.
Price?
Asking's about 52.
52 million.
Yeah, 52 million. But you know.
Okay, so then going up to the apartments. So a 2-bedroom standard apartment now.
Depends what you go for, obviously, because you have your signature apartments.
Yeah.
And you have your standard apartments, depending on what floor you go on. So obviously with your signature ones, you generally have both views. So you have your sea view and your palm view. Some just have the palm, some just have the sea. Obviously, you would generally pay a little bit more for the palm view.
Yeah, absolutely.
But some of them, like a lot of owners like to furnish them themselves, getting a nice interior in, depending on what they pay on the package on that. You know, depending on what premium they want on it. You know, because some of these interiors are pretty fancy. So when they're coming in and kitting it right out, you are putting...
Yeah, I know. I mean, a lot of them have like, you know, the designer Italian custom-made furniture packs.
Yeah, exactly.
That they fit them out with, and the spec. In all honesty, after working in the construction side myself, looking around, some of them, it's really well done.
It is, yeah.
There are a couple where you think, okay, well maybe some of the finishes are just a little bit shiny and.
Yeah, well, exactly. Because obviously, if you're an owner and you spend a lot of money putting an Italian interior in, but then there's an owner that's gone to IKEA and done the exact same. You're not going to want the same, are you?
Yeah, and you've got to have obviously an agent that's going to tell you where it's sourced from as well.
Exactly, yeah. That's one of the biggest things I've found, especially looking around and seeing what other agents have got. For me, a lot of it is starting to become a bit overpriced. It's just like the agents aren't being truthful with their owners.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so 2-bed, let's say 2-bed palm view that you have available. How much is that going for at the moment?
You're looking at about 20.
20 million.
Yeah.
Okay. And 3 beds, same palm view, which is the most desirable.
Going up to 25, 26.
Okay. So, I mean, in terms of what you get as an offering here, I think it beats everything out there at the moment.
Definitely. And to be fair, you have your sky courts as well, which they can be quite reasonably priced as well. Spent compared to what like the terrace you get on them as well. You know, it's generally 40% terrace.
40% of the built-up area terrace.
Terrace, yeah, which is a lot.
Pool?
Pool, yeah, you have your pool. Some of them have like a jacuzzi area as well, like a spa bit, and obviously you have your barbecue area and all stuff like that.
Right. So I mean, the sky courts kind of sit in between the sticking out parts on
yeah,
here. So you can see on here.
Yes,
so
they're like your sky courts. So generally, a lot of them are on the inner side of the building or the outer side, basically.
Yeah.
They don't run through the middle. But yeah, they are pretty spectacular.
I mean, imagine that, right? On New Year's Eve,
Yeah, exactly.
sat in your jacuzzi on your terrace, watching the
bad.
fireworks display.
Not bad at all.
Okay, great. Well, look, obviously you've got 2, 3, 4 beds available at the moment. The larger units, I would say, would be more appealing to, I don't know, somebody who's going to use it a little bit more frequently, so they can. You've obviously got a swimming pool to maintain and a large terrace to keep clean.
I was going to say, if you're going for like a garden suite or a penthouse or a sky court, you generally are living here.
Yeah.
You're not really leaving it for 6-7 months of the year.
Yeah, but even the building maintenance, they come and help with the cleaning, right, as well?
Yeah, that all comes underneath it. Yeah.
As part of the service charge?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. All right, well, look, thanks very much for joining me today.
No problem.
Guys, if you are looking for something ultra luxury, we've been established on Palm Jumeirah for 20 years. The Royal Atlantis is one of our key locations and key developments at the moment. We've seen a lot of interest. As we accelerate towards the second half, or through the second half of this year, shall I say, towards September and October, the market starts to warm up. And traditionally, they have been the most busiest in terms of numbers of transactions. So, if you're looking for something ultra luxury and you're looking for a trusted agency that's been established on the Palm for 20 years, then please get in touch with us at Edwards & Towers. Thank you for joining me for another episode of What's the Deal, and I'll see you next week for another one. Take care.